And I'm back. So, the title is not clickbait. I was talking to some people in game, and they actually weren't aware of the name of the update. They didn't even know this whole thing was happening. And they were like a guild master who's been playing way longer than me. So I thought, you know what? I think it's a perfect time to talk about, you know, this stuff that they've had kind of posted on their website for a while now. We just looked at the trailer, the teaser trailer. Just thought I'd open with that while I was setting up chat and everything. But yeah, just to show my credentials. I just reached Grandmaster. I am way behind, so I have no credentials. Let's see. Let's let it load, finally. So yeah, I'm only on Generation 9. Or 10. I just did 9. So. Yep, way behind. Just got back into it. For those wondering how long ago I started, here's my 2nd anniversary title. I remember when Paladin and Dark Knight and all that stuff was added. So, I am Ancient. But only somehow level 16,000. Blinad apparently gets you to level like 20k. Anywho, this is like the one place I hadn't gone. Real quick before we tab out. In the series so far, which is like the last continent of Belfast. Thought I would this is kind of like the newer stuff that they were doing texture wise. It's one of the, like, compared to the first zones and stuff, this is like one of the newer zones, but not really. People used to, I remember when these like marketplaces were filled with people. So a little bit of lore for anyone wondering before we get into the graphics. This market used to have the bank coupon that let you sell stuff worth more gold. I think it was like 4 million or something, or like it got to 1 million where other things didn't before. I forget the exact number, but you can make more money with your bank, or with your shop here. So people just made bigger shops and sold a bunch of stuff, and then they changed it to be like those shop coupons can be bought in any town. So quickly this place was abandoned. It was cool while it lasted, like not having to go to Dunbarton only. But yeah. Hold on one more time. I also changed the color of my cloud. Let's just go look at like some of the NPCs and stuff up close, because everything's getting a revamp, right? Old school imp with the mitten fingers. You'll see why I'm mentioning that soon. Color palette. Oh my god, I saw so much stuff about the color palette, which is really cool. We'll go over that right now. Okay. Just thought I'd go and visit the zones. Places that people haven't really maybe walked around too much. Check out the guardsmen. They're wearing old school armor, so they are going to get updated. Because that is like Generation 1, Generation 5 stuff. People probably come up here, but just those houses. Thought I'd get a better look. Actually, we're documenting, so... Oh, you can't even... Oh, they like... Alright, so the water stops you. Yeah, the Admiral. Okay. So. This is what it used to look like. My head is glitched out if I zoom way too far. You can see, like, the textures warping. All of that's gonna go. Also, I should zoom in really close, because that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Here's just a baseline comparison for anyone who hasn't played what the graphics are currently like. So, I can't believe it's actually getting this good. However, I went and peeked through a couple of these. I know which one we should review. And this one. I thought it'd be fun for you guys to try the test. Okay, so a character or a look at character creation with the technical artists. So I should also state, for those wondering, I use Unreal Engine. That's the engine that they're changing everything to, labeled right here. And I use Unity and I use Unreal Engine. So I just didn't have Unreal open. I had Unity open because I'm working on a project right now. But I use both. I know how they work. Especially, I use the exact same engine, or the same version of the engine that they use, unless they modified it. Which they probably did, because they're a large-scale company. So, I think this is the old school graphics currently. And they have like a hard outline. Oh. Is it showing like a glitch out? What the hell's going on here? Can't quite tell what's going on. Maybe it's just showing a glitch. Yeah, multiple ways to handle outlines. Okay, so it's just showing the different ways. And then this is like the modern version of it. That's gonna be in the remake. Not even remake, it's just they're revamping the engine. Like when World of Warcraft did it for Warlords of Draenor. It's the best point of reference, if you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So that's cool. And then dresses. Actually, I don't think I've seen this animation yet. So, god damn, it looks so good. Like just the animated movement of everything and the lighting. Like the shading going off of the metal on that star. God. I'm so excited for this update. Okay, oh. I thought it was going to go to 14 seconds like the other one, but it's a little longer. Okay, 25 seconds. Pretty cool. And then each blog post is noted down here. It tells you how long they've been going. How long they've been either playing or working on the project. So that's the first one. Next. This is why I just showed my character close up. Neo typically wears a kind yet somewhat sad expression. Okay, so now they're gonna show off like the icon, like the mascot character. I didn't even know she had like leggings like this. Like I don't really like inspect her too much, you know. She's just someone I run up to, click on as fast as I can to get teleported out of the rebirth zone. So it is crazy to see like the concept art of modern day, like how this is 2D. And then this is 3D. This is like the difference between the artwork, as you'll see when we scroll down. Some of these, like I said, I've seen before. So, this is the progression, right? And they did the new outline system, which I like a lot, right? Because it would look like this if they didn't do shading. Oh, no. This is kind of missing shading and texture. Maybe the eyes have texture, actually. It looks a bit textured. The thing with cell shading is you can't really tell too much unless it's metallic. So anyway, yeah, this being gray, it's either no shading, like the lighting is turned off, just completely, so there's no darkness and light, and then this is it like in full effect. This is with the textures and the lighting and the shading and the effects of the outline in play, which is really cool. And this is the old Neo. And then this is the T-posing new one, which I think is cool. I hope the two of you get along. That's funny. Okay, so this is her actually fully animated. I mean, she's just standing there, though. This is like a close-up. This is what kind of tripped me out. I was like, holy shit, like, just compare this PlayStation 2-ass graphics that we've had for years, right? With, like, the really flat Nintendo 64 shading to, like, the actual really high fidelity, like, metallic, actual, like, material shading and not drawn on shading. It's actually like it uses the engine's light. Beautiful. And then it's also got the like outline effect because it's in the engine that deals with it. It's so good. So yeah, you could like tell the difference. between this particularly. She's gonna have like actual expressive emotion, and it's not like drawn on faces with the emotes. So that's another huge difference. So hold on, I should mention why that's important. This right here, the actual expressive face change, when we do emotes, right? Well, that was kind of a shitty one to try. The face does change, but it changes your eyes and mouth and everything into preset drawn on faces. Like, everyone gets this face pretty much when they do negative. Everyone gets that face when they do angry. So I wonder how they're gonna do those. It's probably gonna be a mix of the two, but because I kind of like the old school anime feel of these. Doubt, right? Like, what the hell? And now that I'm thinking of it, that these options all exist in the character creator. We'll see the new UI in a second, but or like what they've shown of it. But it means that like our entire emote system is probably going to change based just on this picture alone. I was like, holy shit, her emotes are changing. Like they say the weight of her smile bearing down on me. It's like, oh shit, they're actually talking about the smile. It brought attention to the face. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool. Okay, so here's the new UI. They're talking about the dye system and how they're. I thought it was really cool. I read the whole thing and I could kind of summarize it. There's a lot of colors. It randomizes their position, obviously, we know that. But there's this, which is the original color palette data. This is all of the color options and all of the in-game colors they have available to make, like, anything. Like, to color any texture, right? And then this distorted display window and the current dye window. Yeah, so it distorts it. It just randomly selects stuff and then distorts it in like a wavy pattern. This is the color palette they want us to be able to choose from, and they censored the name of the person developing it. So this is just part one, talking about how hard it is to do, but they ended up getting the thing because it fit right into the new system, which was cool. And then this is the new thing. I'm hoping, oh my god, I'm hoping that these tabs are available to all armor, and we're now able to dye metal more colored, like more colorful, right? So this is like the newer UI that they're showing. See? It looks so good. God, it looks great. Oh, this is a video? I haven't seen this video. I thought this was a picture. Holy shit. Okay, that looks awesome. Someone just ran by me in game. Wow, are you serious? That's actually dope. The specific options. What? I don't read. Pretty sure this is in Korean. I don't read the language it's in, but I know the UI it's based off of, so I know what additions they've added. Because you aren't able to select individual pixels like that. Well, let's see if we can get back to it. How do they do that? Okay, so, yeah, that one right there. You can't do that yet. You see how it moves in fives? And then you're now selecting, like, the very particular pixel? That's crazy. That's dope. I didn't even know that was an option. Like I said, I didn't know this was a video. This is probably where they're showcasing it, so can't really get that information anywhere else. That's cool. Is this a video too? It's the same thing? No, this is 36 seconds. Finally, I can't type in these right now. They're glitched out for me. I tried really hard, but I couldn't do it. And the in-game it says that like it'll try to find the closest thing, but it doesn't even let you input data. It's probably just like the info is there for the new, if it doesn't work for anyone else. Probably like the UI info is there, so they have to have it in game and displayed, but it just disabled until the new UI and the revamp happens. So, I target color exclusive feature. Okay, yeah, that's it. There are two main things that tend to confuse players trying their hand at dying. Okay, so that's awesome. They are revamping. Multiple indoor and outdoor lighting presets include natural lighting. Oh my god, finally. Because I do this all the time. I run into a bank or something when I want to see the daytime lighting of like, well, if it's nighttime, that's a pro tip, by the way. If you want to change the lighting, typically go indoors. It'll have the daytime lighting. Race and gender mannequins. Allows player to preview dyed gear pieces and wearable by races and genders other than their own using mannequin presets. That's fucking cool. Have you ever wanted to give the gift of fashion to your friends but became frustrated because you couldn't preview the piece yourself, making an attempt to dye it? A real shot in the dark? Now, with this feature, you can put the clothes on a mannequin to preview how they'll look. That is so cool. There are tons of times where I like right-click something and I try to inspect it, and I'm like, is this going to look cool on my character? Or like my alt character, if I buy it for him. And then I'm like, well, I can't inspect it, you know? Like, it's for girls only. Most of the time, changes are planned for eternity. But there's actually a nice quality of life improvement for the dye system coming your way sooner than that. Search for the selected color if it exists within the palette. Okay, so it is in the game already, but it doesn't work for me. I typed in a code and it was like, it wouldn't even input any text. Like, it just stayed 0, 0, even though I was like backspacing and typing numbers and changing the position of the number. Maybe it's a glitch, but it just wasn't working. Okay. And now for a tale of character skin tone correction. This one I clicked on when I saw it because I was like, oh, it's like a direct visible. Wow. They're actually explaining like science and how like they're using science to excuse it because they don't want people being crazy racist. But that is cool. The luminosity. No, lumen is like the system. But it is the luminosity. It's what the name is based off of. The system is like showing the environmental color, like how it calculates and directs the indirect lighting. Yeah, that's actually what I was about to say. So like but I'll explain what indirect lighting is, for people who don't know. Certain colors, like all of this green, should bleed into the blue and the orange and red, and then vice versa. These colors should kind of bleed, but if you look at that, it is more green. Like if I were to take this, use the snip tool, cut these out, and then go into Photoshop, and then like dropper tool, inspect both of these, I will put my money on these are more green than this. This is more blue-gray. This is definitely tinted green. So that's just how the system works, and it's just kind of, it's showing like that's how science works, and I'm guessing it's explaining that the old school color palette has different lighting, so things that are lighter are probably going to get more light on them, right? Like if you're right here on this palette, you're going to be lighter, whereas things that are here are also going to get lighter. But then also, what this isn't telling you is this part, which is just regardless of the contrast and brightness, the color saturation is going to be different as well. Because this applies, because it's white, it's all colored. Is a thing to imagine this as a rainbow, and every fucking color and every shade when you go into a dungeon that's like a more bluish like hue. You'll be a little more blue and a little more blue in this. So like your color palette's going to change a lot based on the luminosity around. It's kind of what this is describing. I hope that makes sense to people who don't know what the fuck the lighting calculations are about. Essentially, yeah, you're just going to look more of the surrounding colors, right? Color comparison after tone. So this is the first engine, the one that we're in, the basic game. This is Unreal Unlit, so this is what I thought they were doing. Now they finally tagged it. This is using like no lighting systems. This is just like drawn on textures and like the base lighting. and then with the native shaders, which are like coded effects and lighting effects. So you see she's darker and like, but also more saturated. Adjusting the tone here. Let's try and let's see if the music goes. I just realized it's pretty quiet. There we go. Adjusting the tone based on the character changes the tone of the background. Yeah, left tone set for background, right tone set for character. Ah. So the character is more influenced by the background tone, so they're brighter, but everything else is brighter as well. You can tell by the contrast in the shadows, right? Yeah, tone set for background as well, it says it, but it's more to show off the background lighting and the effects of the world. And then... if you could just distinguish between characters and non-characters in the tone mapper step that handles color correction, we could probably make an exception for just the characters. I think about it and I got an idea. The character outline. So this is how they did the character outline system. That's fucking cool. Controlling character-specific tone map parameters. So I'm really breaking it down. This is gonna look way better, I think. Mabinogi character, unlit. So they just like imported a newer model into the game. That is bright as shit to me. Now they're brighter when not in shadow, but the areas where light is calculated feels more photorealistic than cartoon-like, presumably when they were imported into the Unreal Engine. I was gonna say that's probably an Unreal Engine. It's in the name. It's trying to make it fucking as realistic as possible, even though it's not real. About the realism, strangely enough. That's why like everything, like hyper-realistic games are typically made in Unreal Engine, where like system cartoony cel-shaded games are typically made in like Unity. Because it's easier to do graphic intensive stuff with this engine. They were created with shadows always drawn for that reason. Yeah, because it's easier to do cel shading when you're controlling the shadows, but now the shadows are going to be dealt with by the engine. Now the shadows and lighting are calculated, now the shadows and basic lighting calculations are guaranteed to be the same as in the old engine, is what that is saying. Which is actually really cool, because that means they're not drawn on anymore, or not as much, because I kind of see it drawn on like under the chin, unless I'm going crazy. It's typically color, unless that is the engine. It's so fucking good. I think it's drawn on, because that's what they're going for. Next up, we noticed that Lumen, the indirect lighting environment provided by Unreal Engine using the Mabinogi native shaders, resulted in too much indirect lighting being calculated, so the character colors didn't come out right. Oh, maybe that's what I'm seeing. Oh, because that's the before they did that change. High lumen influence on character versus low lumen influence on character. Yeah, okay, and then it is still shading her like tummy area green, as opposed to like this, where she's like tinted gray and green. Fixed by providing the ability to separate control lumen influences when using the Mabinogi native character shaders. These are all such good solutions. I was reading this. We've covered the process of identifying and resolving the causes of the differences in character color between one engine to the other. I started out with a simple goal. Let's make the colors look the same. That's so crazy. But as I worked, I started to see areas that could be improved and thought harder about them. We've laid the groundwork for rendering our characters, but the real work is just beginning. We've got a long way to go, but we're looking forward to bring even more beautiful graphics to our... I don't even know how to pronounce the word. The main characters are called in the game. Militiants? I think it's militiants. Militians? I have no fucking idea. Okay. So, this one is a fun one. Thought I'd leave this for you guys. I'll do this to make it a bit easier. So, It doesn't actually full screen right now because it's too small. Alright. These are all these are all 5 different shades of black. I know the answers. I'm gonna wait to give the correct answers because I know I didn't look at the page for the answers, so if it says it here, but I just know in my heart of hearts which order it goes in. But just by looking, I can tell. Alright. This is the well, obviously this middle one is the lightest. If you can't tell, I'll give you that hint. So, what you should do is try to find which order they actually go in, from like darkest to lightest or lightest to darkest, whichever one you can do. I'm gonna let you pause it and do it. Now I'm gonna give the answer. Okay, so it is. This is the brightest. This is the second brightest. This is the next brightest. This is the second to last brightest, and then this is the darkest. So. I thought that was a fun little quiz to leave off on. There's a ton of really cool programming things that they show off and solutions that they've like explained in depth, like that previous is this the die one? No, yeah. Like that previous post. They get into how they code it, which I love, and they don't just show off the graphics. There's a ton more to look through. Rebuilding, this is one thing I actually did want to mention. I'm glad I went back to the tab before I closed down. But it's not a long explanation. They pretty much just say the same thing that I thought was going to happen. I was like, maybe that's the case. I really fucking hope so. This kind of convinced me. They are revamping the world entirely, because this is like a new asset. And then they're also, based on the name of this post, a long-term plan. They're going to be doing the base game stuff and adding more and more updates and content updates, and like also the fact that they use FBX. I use the same format as them. I can actually go straight into their pipeline and work for them. That's crazy. Yeah, like the anime character 3D models that I make would probably work as Mabinogi models, which is fucking bananas. But yeah, also here are the myths. I mentioned this as a joke with the imp earlier, but like this is the old graphics. Look at this. Look at the fucking... It's like night and day. One is PlayStation 1 graphics, and one is like PlayStation 3 graphics. Like even better. So, goddamn, it's so much better. But yeah, they're going to be adjusting everything over time, and you doing like baseline changes that kind of influence and ripple out. Hopefully it doesn't break the game. Probably is. That's why they're working on it for a long time. But just like changing textures and stuff so that they actually have UV mapping is what it's called. So like this is a flat texture. When you look at it from a different angle, you can see it right here. This looks like a flat plane. And you can see like one little bump here. And then if you where was that brick floor picture? That was the perfect one. So here you can see now like each tile has like an entire couple of pixels, but they actually bump out. Especially if you come here and like to the website and look at it yourself, all of the textures aren't like flat, plain, drawn on like wood planks. They're actually like rendered on, but it's probably UV mapping. Yeah, didn't have detailed textures, we know that. So each material texture had to be set up for the Unreal environment. These are probably like they used the texture that exists and then had to make an entirely new texture with UV mapping, because not only are they upscaled so they look way better, but to make them 3D like this when it's a flat texture as well. Yeah, let's see if I could look it up. Flat. Can't think of what the hell it's called. Adobe Texture Library. Nope. Stock textures, here we go. Nope. Substances. Because they're called textures, but for some reason Adobe has like a weird one. So all of these are like flat textures, right? But the UV mapping makes it look 3D. This is a flat sphere. There are no actual little ridges modeled into the sphere. There's a secondary texture that looks like infrared, like you're the predator looking at it through your like heat-seeking goggles. Let's see if we can find. Some of them have the actual texture for you to see. Damn. Hold on. Here you go. UV map. Where is... Wow, I'm surprised they don't actually have a UV map color grade. The UV map is like where the 3D models are, and then you actually have like it's called the UVs, UV map texture, differently with UV map compared. Maybe I'm thinking of a different name, but no, it's... Let's go back to this. But this is a really good example. This is, again, a flat sphere. I know that it doesn't look like it. You're probably like, you're out of your mind. But this is the detailed image, right? This is like a really close-up shot of it. But imagine this like exactly as it is, flat and laid out. But then it's got, like where the depth would be, the color changes to let the computer know that this is actually depth that you need to be like simulating. So they've added that capability into the game engine. That's the whole reason I'm explaining that. I'm surprised there aren't a lot of things that show it. It's hard to find the color gradient thing that I'm talking about because that's like what people are paying for, right? Like when you show that exact image to the to any software, like you upload it into the software and let it know it's a UV map, like for lighting and depth, then it will, and you have the basic texture as well to go over it, then it knows that that's 3D, and essentially like all of that person's work is lost. Like now they can't charge money for it. So I understand why you can't really find those images so easily. But I used to, there were like a bunch of free ones online that I like know that I've used before. They're just like free access. Anyone can use these textures, open source, on the Adobe website. So I was hoping they would show some of the textures, but I could like, it looks like they even cleaned up that on the website. Like they don't show, because you wouldn't have to download it off of Adobe. You could just right click and save the image off of the website, and it kind of makes it look like they don't get as much traction, you know, as many downloads. So I kind of see why they would do that. However, for my point of showing you guys something, it makes it harder to display. So they've kind of updated all the graphics. Everything looks great. So yeah, all that to say, this is still a flat texture, or a flat 3D model, right? It's typically broken into tries, so it's like a bunch of triangles, polygons making up this, or it's a bunch of triangle shaped planes making up a polygon, which happens to be in the shape of a roof. It's flat, and then the texture makes it look like it's actually got depth and stuff. But then like, the reason I'm impressed with that is because you can see right here with the wood, it's the most drastic, like night and day. Like this part that's sticking out is probably 3D modeled, right? Like these logs here. But you can also get this texture with that. I mean, you saw with the sand that I just showed you. You can make it look crazy, or you can make it look very linear with the UV mapping. I forget the exact name, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's UV mapping. I know UV mapping is the process that you would do that, but oh yeah, they show. But look, for the new model, they're removing the facial emotes. They aren't showing them yet. So that's something they're working on. Also, they're doing the modular coding or node coding. Node based. That's complex as shit. But it's cool that it shows you the the in-depth layers of programming is technically, it's visual coding, but it's coding. Right, all of the logic gates and how everything connects to each other, the different gates. It's awesome. I like shit like this. This is kind of where I learned programming and how logic works with Little Big Planet. They have like a system like this in the sequel, where you can kind of code microchips into things, and they'll be running around how you programmed them. People made like a bunch of different games with it, but that shit's cool. And then yeah, graphics are changed. Weapons, oh my god. Of course, for the items to have a simpler porting process, we do have automation tools to port them over efficiently. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. We'll check this out, and then we'll end it. Oh my god, I'm so stoked. Oh, I touched my headphone, I paused it, sorry. God damn it. Okay, so even the smaller hairs on the wig are animated. They're like little flowy. There are bones to the ribbons and stuff, so they have their own weight and animation. That's really cool. And I guess this is just showing the fact that a lot of things have been updated, and that there's an automated process for taking the old gear that exists already in game and then making it higher fidelity for the new game. Like, this is kind of still stretching, even though it's metallic. Shit like that's always gonna happen, right? Like, even in crazy high definition games like what is it, God of War and all that stuff, there's still clipping, there's still textures that like get cut short and stuff. It happens. It's just in the nature of video games. But compared to, right, looking at all this back to this, right? Oh my god, it's a crazy contrast with Shrek over there. I can't wait to see how all of this stuff looks when it's updated. It's gonna be a real short stream today. I missed my crab stream. I'm not going to be streaming for hours doing dungeons and stuff here. I just kind of wanted to showcase, also I joined a guild, but yeah, I wanted to showcase all of the new graphics and stuff that I thought were important to cover, and I'll leave some stuff for those who want to get in depth with any system that they like, right? They could still visit the website and search for things that they find interesting. Okay, I think it's just mabinogi.nexon.net, and you click on the eternity button, it'll take you right to that tab. Thank you guys. Hope this helps somebody who's thinking about getting into the game. I don't regret getting back into it. It's been fun playing with some friends, meeting some new people, joining a guild. Oh, let me see the guild tab. Aha, yeah, we're newly formed, so I don't know who the master, or they're like salty is what we call them, so